Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Balakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishikam Vitam Scha Om Jnana Timaranda Sha Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuran Milidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shirupa Patanugam Govinda Abhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divyad Bhagavat Prem Navi Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavananam Balarka Chelan Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Sanatan Nidim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Mandetam Shivaram Madeka Sharanam Nyashishwara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevaja Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gorata Vishay Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila chapter 22, the process of devotional service. Text number 40. Excuse me. Satyam dishati artitam artitoninam naivarta duyat punar artitayata swayam vidate bhajatam anichatam ichapidhanam nijapada palavam. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which after being enjoyed will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engages in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet where one will forget all other desires. Whenever Krishna is requested to fulfill one's desire, he undoubtedly does so, but he does not award anything which after being enjoyed will cause one to petition him again and again to fulfill further desires. When one has other desires but engages in the Lord's service, Krishna forcibly gives one shelter at his lotus feet, where one will forget all other desires. So this is a very nice verse, because elsewhere it says, whether one is full of desires, or one is self-satisfied, or one desires nothing, in all cases, one should go to the Lord for the satisfaction of one's desires. Now here, and there's a verse that says, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janayat Yashu Vairagam Gyanam Chayata Haitukam. So we don't individually, cultivate, better said, we don't cultivate either Gyan or Vairagya separate from Bhakti, in and of themselves. We're not engaged in severe austerities. We're not engaged in just trying to acquire Gyan or knowledge. So, but when one engages in devotional service, one does acquire knowledge and detachment from anything material. So the knowledge, it says, Gyanavat Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojata Janaya Yashu Vairagam Gyanam Chayada Haitukam. So one automatically will get that knowledge, which is of revealed knowledge and practical knowledge for engaging in devotional service. And as far as detachment, one will gather detachment and become detached from that which is material. Here it says that if you should not go somewhere else besides Krishna for satisfaction of your desires, but the Lord will not award you or give you, He will not satisfy your desires in such a way that it'll take you away from devotional service, or that it will cause you to repeatedly petition Him over and over again. So that's one of the nice things about devotional service. When it's called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means that that Vairagya, that detachment, which is utilized in the service of the Lord. For instance, some people are very renounced, and they don't want anything to do with, for instance, wealth. And we see that Mahaprabhu, he was a very strict, what is the term? He's very strict sannyasi. I'm trying to think of the term. My mind is going blank all the time.
Strictly obeyed the rules and regulations.
Yes, but it is called. There's a no. It's not. There's a word for that, meaning that he did actions that even sannyasis today will not do, because he was very strict, and in those days so he would follow all the principles. He would not sleep on a bed. He would not. He was very renounced in his eating, everything. But Yukta Vairagya means, for instance, that whereas maybe an ordinary renunciant won't have anything to do with money, but with a devotee, if we collect, we'll do Guru Seva, and we'll collect, but we'll bring that collection to Gurudev. That's the idea. The regular renunciant, he will not have any interest in money at all, but the devotees will go out collecting for Gurudev, and they'll consider that's their service. So that's Yukta Vairagya. And knowledge, Guru Maharaj said that on our own, we will not just read many books, but if Gurudev tells us to read a book, then that will be bhakti. Otherwise, it may be just gyan, or it may even be karma, to just randomly read books. And once I also asked Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he told me, when I came to him, he said, bhakti has nothing to do with power, and it has nothing to do with knowledge, or gyan, just knowledge. And I said to Srila Guru Maharaj, but I said, but everyone knows you're very knowledgeable, and you have knowledge of everything, but you're telling me that bhakti has nothing to do with power or with knowledge. And then Guru Maharaj smiled, and he says, bhakti is the king, and gyan, knowledge, is a minister who comes to prostrate herself before the king, or prostrate himself. I don't remember how it was worded. That bhakti is the king, and knowledge prostrates himself in front of bhakti. So, in other words, Guru Maharaj had much knowledge, but it's all in the service of the Lord. So, Kamalage Krishna Bhaje Bhai Krishna Rase Kamachari Dasha Hoite Hoi Abhilashe. When someone engages in Lord Krishna's devotional service for the satisfaction of the senses, and instead acquires a taste for serving Krishna, he gives up his material desires and willingly offers himself as an eternal servant of Krishna. So that will be the experience of many persons in devotional service. When one engages oneself in Lord Krishna's devotional service for the satisfaction of the senses, and instead acquires a taste for serving Krishna, one gives up one's material desires and willingly offers himself as an eternal servant of Krishna. So, in the process of devotional service, you become free from so many anarthas, so many unwanted things. Now, full anartha nivritti may take some time to become free from all desires, but we can see that as we proceed, we do become free from desires, one after the other. And somebody once asked, what is the verse? It says, by regular attendance in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, one gradually develops knowledge and detachment. And someone asked, well, what is that? One develops here it was by regular attendance in the Srimad Bhagavatam class or Bhagavad class, all unwanted things will be destroyed almost to nil. That was a statement. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, well, what does that mean, almost to nil? And he said, that means it's gradual. It means it's gradual. Almost to nil. It's an ongoing thing. Stana bilasi tapasi stitoham tvam praptavan deva munendra guyam kacham vichinvan api divya ratnam swamin kritartosmi varam nayache. When he was being blessed by the Supreme Lord, Dhruva Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after pieces of broken glass, but instead I have found a most valuable gem. Therefore I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." This verse is from the Hari Bhakti Shubhodaya. I said this verse that way because I used this verse once in a Vyas Puja offering to Srila Prabhupada. It's a very nice verse. Dhruva Maharaj saying, you know the story of Dhruva Maharaj, how he went to the forest. Dhruva Maharaj, his mother, I believe her name is Suniti. Anyway, one time, that's his mother. But the king had different wives, and she wasn't the favorite wife of the king. So one time, Dhruva Maharaj was trying to get onto the lap of his father, the king, and the principal queen she said, "You have no right to be on the lap of the king because you were not born from my womb." What?
He was on the lap, and his father was playing with him, and she walked in with her boy, and she pushed him off the lap and put her boy in.
Okay, so I'm sure there are different ways the story is told. But anyway. But then she said, "You have no right to be on the lap of the king because you are not born from my womb." And then Dhruva, he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas have Kshatriya blood. They're very easily, like they will not take insult. So he went to his mother and he told his mother, "This happened. What can, And his mother says, "There's nothing I can do about it because she is the principal wife of the king and I am not able to change the situation for you." And then Dhruva Maharaj became very upset and he said, "Well, who can then change it? And she said, well, she said, the Lord can change it for you. Only the Lord can change it for you. And he says, well, where do I find the Lord? And she said, well, I'm told that there's the sages in the forest there meditating and searching after the Lord. So, so then he went off he determined that he was going to petition the Lord for some redress of this. So he went off into the forest, a small boy. And he's in the forest, and after some time, he's there in the forest, and he meets Narad Muni. And Narad Muni tests him, and he says, boy, what are you doing here? And he says, I've come to look for the Supreme Lord. And can you help me? And Narad Muni says, you are very young and tender. Better you should go back to your mother, and after you are older and are more, able to resist all this, then you come back to the forest. And then Dhruva said to Narad Muni, well, if you can help me, help me. But if you can't help me, more or less, he told him, then I'll go my own way. I'll continue myself. So then Narad Muni said, all right. Then Narad Muni instructed him. And then Dhruva Maharaj became very advanced in meditation and austerities in the forest, is eating only what grows, and in this way his austerity became so strong that even when he walked, it would have some weight upon the earth, move the earth. And then after some time, he's meditating, and he's meditating on Paramatma, he's meditating on Terjami, the super soul within. And one time he's meditating on the super soul and on the Lord, and somehow or other, suddenly that vision of the Lord that he's meditating upon disappears. And then he becomes startled, and it kind of breaks his trance, but then when he looks up, there in front of him is the Lord. Wow. And then the Lord says to him, so you're looking for me, you have some desire, because Dhruva, his desire was to get a kingdom that was greater than his elder brothers. Greater than his elder brother, because he wasn't the principal. So then, but he didn't say that. He said this verse, which is, O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after pieces of broken glass, but instead I have found the most valuable jewel. Therefore I am satisfied. I am satisfied that I do not wish to ask. I am so satisfied that I do not want to ask any benediction from you. So, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he also talks about that. He talks about denotation and connotation. Which is, if one is, if you, as denotation, what is it? How does it work? One is as denotation, I believe is, I have to look this up, as denotation increases. In other words, as the value of I have to sort out what are the correct usages of the words, but one is, as the value of something increases, its rarity, as the rarity of something increases, its value increases. And if it is very easily attainable, or it is very common, then it has less value. So less value means what? connotation or denotation? I would say probably connotation. As denotation, less value. As denotation increases, that means no, as denotation increases, connotation decreases, and as denotation decreases, connotation increases. I have to get it right because it works in the opposite way. In other words, as the commonness of an object as it's easily available at a cheap price, then easily available, the price is less. And if it's very rare, then the price increases.
I gave the example of a glass of water in the desert.
Yeah. So like that. And in this case, Dhruva Maharaj, he's saying, before I was looking for something so common. So that was like pieces of glass and just like, or some jewels, some artificial jewel made out of glass. But instead, now I have found you, and that is like a valuable jewel. So before I was looking for something material, and that is just like some pieces of broken glass. But now I have gotten you, that is of some more value than what I could have imagined. Like that. So many times we are looking for something really mundane, and that goes to the previous verse also. That is very easily attainable. The Lord can award that very easily, but He doesn't award pure bhakti so easily, because by pure bhakti, He sells Himself to His devotee. So, like that. Samsara brahmite kon bhagye kehotare nadera pravahe jena kashta lagetire. The conditioned souls are wandering throughout the different planets of the universe, entering various species of life. By good fortune, one of these souls may somehow or other be delivered from the ocean of nescience, just as one of the many big logs in a flowing river may by chance reach the bank. There are unlimited conditioned souls who are bereft of Lord Krishna's service. Not knowing how to cross the ocean of nescience, they are scattered by the waves of time and tide. However, some are fortunate to contact devotees, and by this contact they are delivered from the ocean of nescience, just as a log floating down a river accidentally washes upon the bank. So, the conditioned souls are wandering throughout the different planets of the universe, entering various species of life. By good fortune, one of these souls may somehow or other be delivered from the ocean of nescience, just as one of the many big logs in the flowing river may by chance reach the bank. So many conditioned souls. But what is this? By good fortune. That means by sukriti, by the contact with a Vaishnava. Then you can be delivered. And there are so many logs floating in the river, so many conditioned souls. But some conditioned soul has enough sukriti to meet with a Vaishnava, and then he'll get devotional service. So just as one of those logs, one of the many logs that are floating in the river will somehow or other wash upon the shore. Maivam mamad dhamma shapi shadeva chuta darshanam. Maivam mamad dhamma shapi shad eva chuta darshanam. Riyamana kala nadya kvachit tarati kaschana. Because I am so fallen, I shall never get a chance to see the Supreme Lord. This was my false apprehension. Rather, by chance, a person as fallen as I am may get to see the Lord. Although one is being carried away by the waves of the river of time, one may eventually reach the shore. This is spoken by Akrura. And this is all, as I said, this is all a result of one's sukriti. It's working in the background. One may not see that. One's accumulation of some spiritual, what is it? Some spiritual credits, or you could say some sukriti. Then by that sukriti, one can meet a devotee and get devotional service. Boom. Now this is spoken by Akrura. Akrura, he came to Vrindavan to take Krishna back to Mathura. And there was some purpose in that. Krishna went to Mathura, and then he killed Kamsa. Many things happened. Kumbhagyakara samsara shayan mukahoy sarusange tabe krishne rate upajay. By good fortune, one becomes eligible to cross the ocean of nescience, and when one's term of material existence decreases, one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. By such association, one's attraction to Krishna is awakened. By good fortune, one becomes eligible to cross the ocean of nescience, and when one's term of material existence decreases, one may get an opportunity to associate with pure devotees. By such association, one's attraction to Krishna is awakened. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains this point. Is this bhagya, fortune, the result of an accident or something else? In the scriptures, devotional service and pious activity are considered fortunate. Pious activities can be divided into three categories. Pious activities that awaken one's dormant Krishna consciousness are called Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. Pious activities that bestow material opulence are called Bhagonmukhi Sukriti, and pious activities that enable the living entity to merge into the existence of the Supreme are called Mokshonmukhi Sukriti. These last two awards of pious activity are not actually fortunate. Pious activities are fortunate when they help one become Krishna conscious. The good fortune of Bhakti Unmukhi is attained only when one comes in contact with a devotee. By associating with a devotee, willingly or unwillingly, one advances in devotional service, and thus one's dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened. Bhava pavargo brahmato yarabhavej janasya tarhi achyuta satsamagama satsangamo yarhi tadaiva sadgunao pavar paravareshe tvai jayate rati. O my Lord, O infallible Supreme Person, when a person wandering throughout the universes becomes eligible for liberation from material existence, he gets an opportunity to associate with devotees. When he associates with devotees, his attraction for you is awakened. You are the Supreme Lord, the highest goal of the topmost devotees and the Lord of the universe. Krishna Jadi Kripa Kori Kon Bhagyavane Guru Antarjame Rupe Shikaya Apane. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as the Chaitya Guru, the spiritual master within. When he is kind to some fortunate conditioned soul, he personally gives him lessons so he can progress in devotional service, instructing the person as the super soul within and the spiritual master without. So what we're hearing is this chapter, the process of devotional service. Mahaprabhu is explaining what is called abhidheya to Srila Sanatan Goswami. First, he explained in the previous chapter, Sambandha, the relationship that everyone has with the Lord. And that giving details so that one will know. It's like that's very much essential, and that especially one's initiating spiritual master should give, because just like if you get into a taxi, now we have many devotees driving Uber cars, so you get into a car, you have to give the correct address. So Sambandha is necessary, otherwise if you don't know what the destination is, how can you possibly proceed? And then, knowing the destination, then you engage yourself in abhidheya. Abhidheya means the process of devotional service. And that's what Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatan Goswami. And the goal of devotional service, that is the third step. You know the relationship, you engage in devotional service, and what is and you gradually you will attain the goal, which is prema prayojana, and that's prayojan. So these are what is said to be in all the revealed scriptures. They're always dealing with sambandha, abhidheya, and prayojana. Okay. Krishna Jari Kripa Kore Kom Bhagyavane Guru Antar Jame Rupe Shikaya Pane. Okay. Naivo Payanti Apachitim Kavayastavesha Brahma Yushapi Kritam Reda Muda Smaranta Yontar Bahisthanuvritam Ashubham Vidunvan Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Vyanakti. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally, as we can say, let me see the wording. Okay, very good. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with a prolonged lifetime of Brahma, for you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Chaitya Guru, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. Because it does use the word here, Acharya and Chaitya. Chaitya, we'll say, refers to Chaitya Guru, the instructing the devotee from within. Sadhu Sange Krishna Bhakti Shraddha Jari Hoy Bhakti Phala Prema Hoy Samsara Jai Koi. By associating with the devotee, one awakens one's faith in devotional service to Krishna. Because of devotional service, one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, and thus one's material conditioned existence comes to an end. Yadrichaya mad katado jata shraddhastu ya puman na nirvino nati shakto bhakti yogosha siddhira. Somehow or other, if one is attracted to talks about me and has faith in the instructions I have set forth in the Bhagavad Gita, and if one is neither falsely detached from material things nor very much attracted to material existence, His dormant love for me will be awakened by devotional service. By good fortune, mat katado, to talk about me. So here Prabhupada mentions Bhagavad Gita. It also refers to talks from the spiritual master, talks from the scripture. If by some good fortune one mat kata ado, and talk about me. So in other words, from some actual Krishna Katha from the mouth of a devotee, from the scriptures. But that person doesn't have is neither, it says here, somehow or other, if one is attracted to talks about me and has faith in the instructions I have set forth in the scriptures, and if one is neither falsely detached from material things nor very much attracted to material existence, one's dormant love for me will be awakened by devotional service. This verse spoken from Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Krishna at the time of his departure from this material world. It was spoken to Uddhava. Mahat kripa vina kon karme bhakti noy, Krishna bhakti dure rahu samsarana hikoi. Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. And then here's a beautiful verse that illustrates this. This verse was in Bengali, Mahat kripa bina kon karmi bhakti noy, Krishna bhakti duri rahu samsarana hikoi. Unless one is favored by a pure devotee, one cannot attain the platform of devotional service. To say nothing of Krishna bhakti, one cannot even be relieved from the bondage of material existence. So that's the statement. And here's a verse from the scripture that illustrates that. Rahuganai tat tapasanayati nachejaya nirvapanad grihadva nachandasa naiva jalagni suryar vina mahatpada rajobhishekam ragunaita tapasanayati nachejaya nirvapanad grihadva nachandasa naiva jalagni suryar vina mahatpada rajobhishekam. O King Rahugana, without taking upon one's head the dust from the lotus feet of pure devotee, a Mahajan or Mahatma, one cannot attain devotional service. Devotional service is not possible to attain simply by undergoing severe austerities and penances, by gorgeously worshiping the deity, or by strictly following the rules and regulations of the sannyas or grihastha order. Nor is it attained by studying the Vedas, submerging oneself in water, or exposing oneself to fire or scorching sunlight. And one more verse. Naisam matis tavada rukramangrim sparshat yanarta pagamo yadarta mahiyasam para rajobhishekam niskinshananam navrinita yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. So the previous verse, we'll read that. The previous verse, Rahuganaita tapasanayati na chejaya nirva panadrihadva na chandasa naiva jalagni suryar vina mahat pada rajobhishekam. That verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam. Jad Bharat herein tells King Rahugana how he attained the Paramahamsa stage. Maharaj Rahugana, the king of Sindhu Sovira, had asked Jad Bharat how he had attained the Paramahamsa stage. The king had called him to carry his palanquin, but when the king heard from Paramahamsa Jad Bharat about the supreme philosophy, he expressed surprise and asked Jad Bharat how he had attained such great liberation. At that time, Jad Bharat informed the king how to become detached from material attraction. So previously, the king was traveling. The king is Rahugana. He's traveling on his palanquin. Hey, get it? Not to engage in meditation in class.
I'm listening to you perfectly.
All right.
I'm just engaging with this.
All right.
Perfectly what you're saying. I'm not
All right.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
All right. Can I go on?
Sure,
Is this when I see somebody with a meditation
Yeah.
pose? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this Maharaj Rahugana was traveling in his palanquin, but one of his carriers was ill and couldn't continue, four carriers or whatever. So he is looking around, who can take the place of this carrier, and he sees Jad Bharat, who's living in the forest, and he thinks, oh, he looks strong. So he says, hey, you come here and help carry the palanquin. So Jad Bharat is carrying the palanquin, but all of a sudden the king noticed that the ride is becoming very bumpy. And he's being tossed from one side to the other. And that's because Jad Bharat is seeing ants on the path, and he's jumping from one side to another to avoid the ants. And that's affecting the palanquin ride of the king. So the king says, stop, and he starts berating Jad Bharat, and then Jad Bharat answers in such a way that he can understand he's a great realized soul. And Jad Bharat starts to tell him, actually, he calls him a fool. He says, I'm neither a fool nor are you a king. And he tells him, he starts speaking Atma-tattva Gyan knowledge to the king, and the king understands. He's a great soul, and he asks him, how did he attain liberation? And then Jad Bharat speaks this verse to the king. He says, O King Rahugana, without taking upon one's head the dust, when the lotus feet of a pure devotee, a Mahajan or Mahatma, one cannot attain devotional service. Devotional service is not possible to attain simply by undergoing severe austerities and penances, by gorgeously worshipping the deity, or by strictly following the rules and regulations of the sannyasa or grihastha order, nor is it attained by studying the Vedas, submerging oneself in water, or exposing oneself to fire or scorching sunlight. So that you have to get the dust of the lotus feet of a Mahajan or Mahatma. And then this verse, Naisam matis tavad harukramangrin sprishati anarta pagamo yadarta mahiyasam para rajobhishekam niskinchananam na vrinita yavat. Unless human society accepts the dust of the lotus feet of great Mahatmas, devotees who have nothing to do with material possessions, mankind cannot turn its attention to the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet vanquish all the unwanted, miserable conditions of material life. This verse appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam when the great sage Narada was giving instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira. He narrated the activities of Prahlad Maharaj. This verse was spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to his father, Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. Prahlad Maharaj had informed his father of the 9 basic processes of Bhakti Yoga, explaining that whoever takes to these processes is to be considered a highly learned scholar. Hiranyakashipu, however, did not like his son to talk about devotional service. Therefore, he immediately called Prahlad's teacher, Shanda. The teacher explained that he had not taught devotional service to Prahlad, but that the boy was naturally inclined that way. At that time, Hiranyakashipu became very angry and asked Prahlad why he had become a Vaishnava. In answer to this question, Prahlad Maharaj recited this verse to the effect that one cannot become the Lord's devotee without receiving the mercy and blessings of a pure devotee. I'm going to stop here. I'll sing Hari Haraya. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama
Hari
Jaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Aditya Chandra Virakta sannyasi. Mahaprabhu was a Virakta sannyasi. And therefore, he was more, he did things that normally we wouldn't do now, like he's the most strict sannyasi is Virakta sannyasi.
Virata coming from Vrata, that he's strictly following the vows he takes when he receives sannyas.
What? Pardon me?
Virata.
Virakta.
Virata, is that coming from?
Virakta.
Virata.
No, Virakta.
Ta.
And Virakta sannyasi.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the nature of sannyas during the time of Mahaprabhu. They wouldn't sleep on beds, they sleep on the ground without any, they just sleep on the bare ground. They wouldn't wear shoes, they wouldn't, there's so many things that, even when Mahaprabhu was thin and his bones, just the weight of his body, sleeping on the hard ground would cause him pain. He didn't want to accept any bed or any cushion or anything. And then the devotees arranged to fill some of his cloth with some shredded like leaves or something that he so he could have something to cushion his body from the hard ground. But he is a Virakta sannyasi. And it's different than what we're practicing now, which is Yukta Vairagya, utilizing everything in the service of the Lord. That Yukta Vairagya is more established, spoken of in the words of Srila Rupa Goswami and Yukta Vairagya, and Srila Saraswati Thakur especially, showed how to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. Jayam Vishnupad Paramansa Paramajaka Charyashta Tarasata Sri Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramansa Paramajaka Charya Ashta Tarasata Sri Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakakshila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Sigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvabaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Nam Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Sripad Bhakti Chandan Parvat Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Janardan Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Shri Akadasi Upavas Ki Jai. Okay, so
So
is this over? You've been.
So